What did you just do, Reg? What did you just do? See, I don't know how we gonna get you out of this one, Reg. Oh my god. It's your boy Jamar back with another video. Back with another banger. Today we're reviewing The Chi Season 8, Episode 9, titled Cold Feet. And this is the episode before the series finale. And it was a pretty good episode. And I just want to, the only question I have is, why did you do that, Reg? Why? Why? I mean, I get it, but then I don't. Because let's just get right into it, y'all. So the episode starts off with Emma getting ready for his wedding with Darnell, and basically he's talking to Darnell saying he's feeling guilty about telling Keisha something, and he needs to tell her something. And Darnell tells him to tell her, but he says, he has to tell her at his right time. So then, Keisha's getting ready for her wedding with Tiffany, and then, she sees that Tiffany's sad about Nook, and she's like, I'm grieving. They're like, both like, we're grieving, whatever. So then Detective Toussaint is trying to talk to the judge to convince the judge that, Tiffany, killed, Nook in exchange for, for Nook killing Rob, and she basically tries to, like, get a warrant to search the place, but, of course, they find nothing. So then Bakari's talking to Shad and basically telling him that he's moving to Atlanta. And Shad asks if he's running for somebody. He's like, maybe I am. He's like, a new scenery doesn't change the person that you are. So then Darnell and Riley are, in bed talking. And basically, he's telling her about the girl that, stole Emma's watch. And she basically helps track the girl down. And then the girl agrees to give Darnell the watch back. So that happened. So then Deontay's mom comes and basically she says that she's taking him back to Pittsburgh, but he doesn't want to go to Pittsburgh. And basically Emma and Keisha are trying to convince her to let him stay. And then eventually by the end of the episode, she eventually agrees to let Deontay stay in Chicago with Emma and Keisha. Jake, Trig, and Reg are reminiscing about their mom, and they're talking about all the good memories and stuff that they've had with her. And they're basically like just regretting all the moments they didn't get to have with her and stuff like that. So then the Mob Boys are trying to find a new supplier, and basically they hear that Keith's girlfriend is like supplying, but then Smitty pays a visit to Keith and asks him about his girlfriend supplying. He basically tells her that she's not supplying no more. He's basically saying, "Oh, we'll hear about that." Then he ends up getting arrested, and then his girl ends up bailing him out using her husband's money and basically trying to convince him to stop being in the streets. Jake is still grieving his mom, and his girlfriend trying to talk to him, but he keeps being like dismissive towards her. And then Bakari ends up talking to Lene, and Lene tells him to get out with Tiffany. So then basically Tiffany asks Bakari, did he snitch on her? And he basically saying, like, I'm not going down for this. She said, well, I'm not eating. He's like, well, it's either you let me walk or you have to kill me. And then Trig just lets him go. And then, Tiffany's basically like, I'm not going down for this. Even though it's like, well, you did the murder, Tiffany, but whatever. So then Emma has a dream where Jada pays him a visit, and Jada basically gives him advice about Keisha and tells him to tell Keisha whatever he needs to tell her. So then Emma ends up telling Keisha about, Tiffany killing Nook, and she's devastated, and she confronts Keisha about it. She confronts Tiffany about it, and basically she says that she had to do what she had to do because Nick killed her child's father, and basically Keisha says she doesn't want to be friends with her no more. She doesn't want her to pay for the wedding. She doesn't want her to show up to the wedding either. And that was that. So then Detective Toussaint asks Bakari if there's any more evidence or proof because she needs something. And he basically gives her a recording of Nook confessing and killing Rob. And of course that could lead to them, figuring out that, okay, Tiffany probably did it because she wants to get revenge of him killing Rob. Jake and Papa are at a party, and Papa tells Jake that he's going to stop smoking, and Jake, is like looking happy about it. So then Detective Toussaint comes by to arrest Tiffany, and then Trig ends up stopping them and saying that he killed Nook, and they arrest Trig instead. So then Jake is mad, and he confronts Reg, and he basically tells Reg to, like, he's going to have to fix this because he doesn't want his brother to rot in jail. But my whole thing is, it's just like, that was Trig's downfall. Why would Trig commit to a murder that he didn't commit? So you're trying to get Reg to, like, to fix it. What does Reg need to fix? It's not had nothing to do with him. So then Fatima pays Trig a visit and saying, I know you didn't do this, and you got me if you ever get out and this and that and third. So I guess they're gonna get together, which makes it even more stupid because he did this for Tiffany and they're not even gonna be together. But okay. So then the boys are reading Bakari's book, and basically Shaw invites Bakari to be to introduce himself as an author, and he meets the boys and they dap him up, and they just basically give him his credit for the book. So then, basically, Trig ends up going up to Reg ends up going up to see Trig, and he basically tells Trig he knows he didn't do this. He's gonna have to do what he has to do. So then he goes to Detective Toussaint and tells him that it wasn't Trig who did it; it was him. And then, well, before we get to that, I'm sorry. Um, what you call it? Darnell ends up giving Shaw his house, him and Jada's house. So then Trey goes to see Detective Tucson, and then basically he says that he murdered her. She's like, well, I need proof because I don't know you're not trying to get your brother out of jail. So he's like, I know where the body's at. So then they go to the backyard, find the body, and Detective Tucson ends up arresting Reg, and that was the end of this episode. So I'm like, okay. So Reg ends up is gonna be in jail, and next week is the series finale. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens when this all wraps up next week on the Shy series finale, and I will see you guys next time.